Brilliant. Now you decide to turn up, just as we've started to tumble back down the league again. If you'd have been here 3 games ago, you'd have seen us challenging for the top of the table. But oh no, you had to wait until we started losing, so Kev looks like an incompetent idiot again. This is becoming all too regular a pattern. Can't even say pattern. Hello and welcome to part 49 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against Boston and then away against Telford, both in the National League. Since you were last with me, we did have a nice little run of form, lots and lots of green in there, but it's just all fallen apart a little bit in the last couple of days. We lost at home to now top of the table Hartlepool. We were challenging that. We could have gone top again if we'd have beaten them in that game and then got absolutely thumped by Dagenham in our next game. We've recovered a little bit against Sutton in the FA Cup. I've still got this pesky cough, and this is what the league table looks like. So we have tumbled down a little bit. Look, there's your proof. We were top for a little while, and that's when we played Hartlepool. Yeah, so that was the result after Hartlepool and then after Dagenham. So it's still quite tight at the top. It's recoverable. We find ourselves 7 points off the top of the league just as we're hitting the halfway point of the season. It's not insurmountable. Playoffs looking a lot more likely than automatic promotion, though, which is a shame, because for a little while there, automatic promotion was starting to look like it was a possibility. Still, win today, and you never know. Livesey Mason, by the way, still scoring goals for fun. 25 goals from 22 starts now. I've never seen anything like it. It is ridiculous. Long may it continue. Tactics screen. This is the team we're putting out there today for the first of the 2 games against Boston. We've got Can in goal. A back four of Anderson, Laskowski, Redhead and Williams, with Kaduba, Taylor and Elliott in midfield, and then Ball in behind Scott and Mason. We have seen a bit of a resurgence for Sedwin Scott as well. Now up to 8 goals from 15 appearances. It's only 11 starts though, and his average rating is... it's the best he's ever had. It's back up the kind of levels we'd hoped for. And there is that possibility. We've never had it yet in 3 seasons of the 2 of them being at the club. But there's a possibility that at some point they could both just start scoring goals at the same time. And then I think we'd be close to unstoppable. If we had a 10, 15 game period where they were both scoring at their most prolific rates... We'd be 5 points clear at the top of the league before the run ended. Sedwin Scott scored again, 1-0 up after 4 minutes. Excuse me for drinking water throughout this. It's either that or constant jump cuts that start with me like this as I'm about to do a cough, and I'm fed up with doing that. So I'm just going to pour water over my delicate tonsils. Not tonsils. What's the little dangleberry bit at the back of the throat? That's the bit that's tickling me. Pouring some water over that. Trying to stop myself from coughing. As it stands right now, we are back. Oh, we were back up to second in the league. FC United have gone ahead in their game now, but because we're playing and Hartlepool are not, 4 points behind Hartlepool, and back in with a shout again. If they lose their game in hand, then it's absolutely all to play for. We've just got to make sure we keep scoring goals and keep winning games, doing what we know how to do. Morecambe, for a second I thought Morecambe or Hartlepool, and I got all excited when I saw Morecambe were losing. Then I remembered Morecambe and Hartlepool are 2 different teams, not the same team, and the excitement dissipated slightly. It's the emotional roller coaster you go through when you have to record a video in the evening for the first time, probably since you left work, because of pesky half term. All the other videos you've seen over the last few days were recorded last week, recorded in advance. That's why it was fresh-faced. Daytime Kev. This is dishevelled 9 o'clock on a Tuesday evening Kev, who remembers he doesn't have a video for you tomorrow. Just eating a load of pancakes Kev. I mean, I must have had 10 pancakes today across breakfast and dinner. I'm a broken man. I'm more pancake than man at the moment, and I'm feeling it. So apologies that I don't look as youthful and exuberant as I normally do. And it's cost us. It's 1-1. Thanks to a goal from some fella called Sinclair. Is it one of the Sinclairs that we've had before? We've had numerous Sinclairs playing for us up front over the years. I don't know if this is one of them. Are we going to get a first name at some point? I don't know if we are. Seriously? No first name? Just Sinclair. He's just called Sinclair. So if anyone knows of a player, I mean, he's like Madonna. Just Sinclair. That's all it is. Right, Mason in behind. I don't know why they have let Livesey Mason do that. And there's just no way he's missing if you give him a half yard of space in the penalty area like that. This was absolute insanity. And this is from the kickoff. Laskowski out to Anderson. I think it's Anderson who plays the ball. It is Anderson. Big ball over the top. And their fullback has just let Mason get behind him. And he was never catching up. And Mason with a beautiful finish. Oh, is it beginning? We've got Mason and Scott both with goals. Imagine if this was the start of their run of both scoring in every game. It's the thing dreams are made of. And it feels like we could be starting something special right now. Laskowski's not having a good game, so Sawyer can come on for him. Kaduba's not having a good game, so Boro can come on for him. And I don't think we need to make any further changes at this juncture. We've got Fuster on the bench to come on if need be. I've not touched this save for about 4 days. I vaguely remember there was an injury to Omar. I don't remember what the injury was, but I think he's out for a while, which is why Fuster is on the bench, as per usual. Picked the team last week. Don't remember why I picked it. Ball's just scored. So all three of our front three have now got goals. That should, in theory, put the game beyond doubt. 3-1 up, 20 minutes to go. We'd have to be a very leaky defensive team to let Boston back into the game at this point. I'm a little bit upset that FC United, Peter Taylor's injured. If he's not getting sent off, he's getting injured. This guy, he's a good player. He's one of the older ones that we brought in over the summer. But he's had 2 red cards already this season. Now he's going off injured. The man's just a liability. We don't really have anyone who can come on for him either. What can I do? What can I do? I guess we bring Fuster on and sort of shuffle this area around a little bit. I mean, that sort of works. It's far from ideal, pulling Mason out of the position that he's been scoring all these goals in. But at least it sort of makes sense. You're all screaming at me, Kev, why didn't you bring the fullback on and just go 5 at the back, consolidate your result? I just noticed all 3 of our assists have come from our fullbacks. This is when the 4-3-1-2 works, when we actually have fullbacks getting assists. That's what this is all about. Get the fullbacks wide, get them whipping in crosses, pack the middle of the pitch, so when the crosses come in, there's a pile of people there to finish them. And here we are again. It's just beautiful when it works. 2 assists each now. That one's gone down as an own goal, but Fuster can take a lot of the credit for putting the pressure on. But once again, it goes out wide to our forwards. I mean, Borrell's a winger. He could cross that himself, but plays it out to Anderson, who crosses on his weak foot, and it's an absolute beauty. And he's created that own goal all by himself because there's nothing that defender can do. He's got Fuster bearing down on him. If he lets it go, Fuster scores. If he gets any contact on it, he scores an own goal. It's a beautiful cross. 4-1 now. And we all of a sudden look like quite a good team again. It would have been pleasant if we'd have taken this kind of form into Hartlepool or Dagenham, because it's frustrating to lose 2 in a row, but rather delightful to have a significant win, especially when we didn't have a clear-cut chance in that game and we scored 4 goals. Definition of prolific strikers. 2 changes for the Telford game then. We've brought Sawyer in for Laskowski at the back. Laskowski had a really poor game in the last match, so we made that substitution in game. Let's just get Sawyer into the team. And also, what's his face? The guy who got injured, whose name escapes me. No, he's not. We've got a lot of injured players. Look at all these injuries we've got. Peter Taylor. He is going to be out for up to 4 weeks. So we just shuffled the midfield around a little bit. Boro comes back in on the left-hand side. Kaduba moving over to deep line playmaker. ELLIOTT as a Mazzala. Don't build a midfield that looks like that, kids. They don't know how to play those positions, but they're young and hungry, and that's all that matters. I mean, apart from Tom ELLIOTT, who's just old and hungry. We've got Mitchell Glover on the bench today. You might remember Mitchell Glover from being at Nuneaton right from the start and never, ever playing a game for me. This could be a momentous occasion today if we bring him on. He's, along with Tom ELLIOTT, the only Nuneaton original still knocking around, and I just keep him around because he's got good potential. He's 22 now. He needs to start fulfilling that potential. He might be about to make his debut. Well, it's not his debut. He played 2 games a season before I arrived, and then I just put him in a box for 6 years and told him to get older. Which, to be fair, he followed the instructions. He did get older. Let's get into the game. Hopefully we get goals from Mason and Scott again. If not, Fuster's breathing down both their necks because he's in really rather good form as well. I know that goal in the last game didn't get credited to him, but he had a good performance all the same, and his average over his last 5 games is pretty much on a level with what Scott and Mason are. I think they're all averaging around a 7.5. in their last 5 games. So you could really interchange any of the 3 of them. But as long as Scott and Mason keep scoring, Fuster's going to have to just sit and wait for an opportunity. Ball picked up a knock in that last game as well, but we don't really have anyone else who can play as an attacking midfielder, apart from Mitchell Glover, who has spent most of the time while he was in his ageing box learning to play there. So we'll see if he's picked... I mean, he might be the answer. He might be an absolute hero. Perhaps he'll come on, get a hat-trick in the last 15 minutes or so, and a new star will be born. And there's a second person that I can try and interview when I eventually go back to Nuneaton. Kiefer Moore's playing down in the conference. That's interesting. Posh were trying to sign him in January, I understand, for like £1 million. I think it was Kiefer Moore. It was someone with a silly first name like that stood out. Apologies if you're called Kiefer. I mean, I'm called Kevin. They're equally silly. Kiefer and maybe a little bit more. But I vaguely remember him. I don't remember who he was playing for, though. Rotherham, maybe? I'm not interested enough to go and check, because obviously if I click on him, it guarantees he's going to get a second goal. And as we're already 1-0 down, we kind of need to not concede a second goal, especially a self-inflicted one, caused by looking at an opposition player. Telford were down in the relegation zone before this match started. This is what I'm talking about with our incredibly frustrating inconsistency. We looked like absolute world beaters in the last game, and we're pretty much playing the team that finished that game, with the exception of Mason. No, Mason was on the pitch. It was Ball who went off. But it's pretty much the same team. And we just don't look like this. It's the same group of players. They don't look like the same team. Tom Elliott with a chance to equalise from the penalty spot. He does. And he runs away with a clap above his head. And hopefully that's going to be enough to just wake us up a little bit. We've given Telford 2 clear-cut chances in that first 25 minutes. Which, I mean, it's just a little bit too generous for my liking. We should be minimising the amount of chances they have. This is Kev's football theory. Try and score more goals than the opposition. I'm going to write a book about it. I might start a blog where I just put all my words of wisdom all in one place so that you can look it up and reference it in uni assignments and stuff. But rule 1 is try and score more goals than the opposition do. Try and create more chances than they create. Try and stop them create. I mean, I hope you're writing this stuff down, because I might never make that blog. I don't know if I can be bothered. Elliott's in again, and Tom Elliott, he knows what's what. The rest of them might be, we're just young kids, we're away from home, who cares? Tom Elliott cares, because he's been here since the beginning of time, and he's fed up being a non-league footballer. He knows this might be his last opportunity to actually have a look at that. He's giving it the Gaza as he runs away. This might be Tom Elliott's final opportunity to make it into the Football League. Little does he know, I've got a rather strong temptation to keep him around regardless. But I'm not going to tell him that. That would be crazy. But he's looking at all these youngsters that we brought in over the summer, breathing down his neck, thinking, this is my last year as a first choice in this team, whether we go up this year or not. But at least if we go up this year, he's probably going to give me a contract extension. I might get to play 1 or 2 games of league football, so I'm going to score a hat-trick today just to try and ensure that happens. And then he walked out there and he scored a hat-trick from central midfield, because Tom Elliott is, I mean, I'm calling it now. Tom Elliott is a Nuneaton legend. And we need to, when we all go to watch a Nuneaton game, we're all going to go and watch the last Nuneaton game of the season. We talk about it on the stream. Don't know if I've mentioned it on these videos. I say we all are. I'm going. A load of people who watch my streams are. Please come along. It'll be awesome. You don't need to do anything other than turn up at Nuneaton on their last home game of the season. But I now need to get in contact with the club and see if we can have Tom Elliott come and shake my hand, and I'll present him with a plaque for being record appearance holder and for scoring this hat-trick, because this hat-trick could end up being absolutely vital come the end of the season, unless Can continues to do ridiculous pieces of goalkeeping like that. And we're going to half-time only 1 goal ahead, despite Elliott having the performance of his life, really. I mean, look at the state of that. There's no hat-tricks in there anywhere. This man wants to play in the Football League. And goodness me, do I want him to as well. Right, we're going to take Ball off at half-time. He's been pretty ineffective. He's a little bit broken. Mitchell Glover, ladies and gentlemen, playing his first game. I remember in episode 2 of this series. People saying, Kev, check your under 23s or your under 18s or whatever it was. There's this teenager in there called Mitchell Glover. Play him. He gets really good. Don't say I don't listen to feedback. He's playing in this second half. Let's all keep a close eye on Mitchell Glover. Watch him get sent off like a minute in and then never play for us again. Or injured or something equally ridiculous. Mason, talking of injured, Mason's fitness is looking a little bit questionable. I think we might take him off. I don't know what's happening there. It seems to be going back up again. So perhaps he's taken a little knock. But it seems silly to keep him on the pitch when he's been in the form that he's in. He's already got his 2 assists for today. He could get a third here if he can find Scott. Instead, it goes out to Williams, Kaduba, to Boro. Glover. Oh, Glover. Arise, Sir Thomas Elliott. Wow. That's his 4th goal of the game. I'm going to knight him, I think. Bear with me a moment. I just need to watch his moment of glory again. And then we need to go and give him a nickname. Because this kind of performance, after bearing in mind he's already record appearance holder for the club, you can't not recognise Sir Tim Elliott. Can't fail. How do you spell Elliott? There we go. Forevermore, he's Sir Tom Elliott, because that is a performance worthy of a knighthood. Let's see if he can grab a 5th. I mean, this might be another club record that Sir Tom Elliott set him. He's already our record appearance holder. I don't know what our record for goals in a game is, but I dare say if he grabs a 5th, he'll break it. Do we need to make a final substitution? I mean, Sir Tom Elliott is the one who's struggling a little bit, but you can be absolutely certain I'm not taking him off. What I will do is take off Williams, bring on Ryan Moore, and just let the game peter out. But what we really want is a 5th goal for Sir Tom Elliott and a 10 out of 10. He's only on a 9.9 at the moment. What more can this man do? He's played nearly 300 games for the club. For goodness sake, give him his perfect game. Give him his 10. He's earned it. You're not telling me it's easier to get a knighthood in this day and age than a 10 out of 10 on Football Manager. That's ridiculous if that's the case. Are we going to get it to Elliott? Get it to Sir Tom. Sedwin, out to Sir Tom. Well, I mean, it was towards him, but he's shattered, bless him. Right, ball over the top again. Scott chases, but I think we're just waiting for the clock to tick over for the end of the match now. Obviously, Sir Tom Elliott, man of the match. Let's see if he's just set a record for goals in a game now. I don't know if we've ever had anyone get 4 before. It feels like the sort of thing Scott or Mason might have done at some point, just to ruin Sir Tom Elliott's day. Classy Sir Tom Elliott on form for Nuneaton. Where's the club records? We go club, we go records, and we want players, goals in a match. Oh, Sedwin Scott's already got 4 this season and 2 seasons ago. Tyrone Marsh did it before as well. What about in league games? There you go. Sir Tom Elliott is on there for 4 goals in a league match. Only midfielder on that list apart from Jordan Nicholson, and we pretend he doesn't exist. Have we really... But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Is this really our 7th season and we're still in non-league? Oh, let's not put a dampener on it. Pretend you didn't see that. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you pop a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.